All right, what is up, folks? Welcome to another episode of Lifting, Running, and Living with your favorite podcasters. Kelly,
Ooh, different intro.
I'm switching it up, keeping it spicy. So that was Kelly, by the
Hello.
way. And JK, that's me. All right, episode 71. Let's get things rolling with updates. And then we are going to, for some fitness adjacent or fitness focused topics, we're going to talk about why you should stop hating on split squats
Yep.
because there is new, well, not new, but I found a study that I could totally use to gaslight you into saying that it would save your life, and you are risking your life if you skip your Bulgarian split squats. And we're also going to talk about the intersection of morality and the wellness space. Is that a fair way to frame it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Prior to that, let's get into some updates. So, Kelly, you've got the new JOB. You want to talk to us
Yep.
about that?
Yeah, I am starting week 2. We're recording this on Monday, the 9th. So I have 1 full week under me. And the only thing that I would like to update about my new job is I'm in that weird starting a new job phase where I don't really know anything yet. So I've got some imposter syndrome going because I'm like, how can I contribute here? Because I don't know anything yet.
Okay.
So I'm trying to ride it out. Because really all you can do is learn and then you figure out how you can contribute. So like in my role, I need to learn like about the business and how it works. And then I also need to learn about all the data. So then I can figure out how to use the data for what I'm trying to do. And I'll be helping the marketing team. So I'm just trying to learn as much as I can, but there's so much. And it just feels weird to like I'm starting to do things now. I have my first project, but I'm not like coming from my last job. It feels weird to not be doing all day every day, you know?
Yeah. Something that I just thought about too is the dynamic of starting a new role that is a remote role.
Yeah.
I've never been in that position really.
Yeah. It can be hard depending on the company. So like my last job, there was not really any onboarding.
Okay.
So that was hard because I was like, how do I learn things?
Yeah.
You know, just kind of like got thrown in. Here, there's more structured onboarding around like the company itself and how things work and, you know, how we make money and the different ways, different app areas and all that. And there's a lot more people on my team. So I have a lot more people to meet with who have been working on specific areas that I can learn from. And there's a lot more resources in terms of like dashboards that have been made, documentation. But the other interesting thing is we are like my new company is so much bigger than my old company, like 10 times the size.
Yeah.
So everything is not owned by my team versus last role. We owned like all of the data stuff.
Yeah.
My 2-person team. So now it's like, okay, well, who are the other teams here that own the data? Like, if I have a question about one of these tables that we didn't build, who do I go to? So that's a whole other element I haven't had to deal with in a long time. So it's just
Yeah.
a lot of different things. Yeah. But the remote thing is, I don't know. I don't mind it as much. I just throw meetings on people's calendars to talk to
Okay.
them
Yeah.
and try to like make it about specific topics and like come prepared with questions, you know?
Yeah.
And then I try to slack them in between if I have questions, but not to an annoying extent. But I am someone I just try to learn myself. And then when I really get stuck is when I reach out, you know? So,
Okay.
yeah, remote doesn't, it works well with how I work, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Just a very to me who's had an in-person career my entire career, and then I do online
Mhm.
coaching. However, that's just different. That I'm an entrepreneur in that particular space.
Yeah.
And I just think about how something that you mentioned is the way that you work. Like it works well for the way that you work. Like remote work works well for the way that you work.
Hmm.
She sells seashells. Yeah. And I think about that. And then I'm also thinking about if I were to like in that position, I'm just thinking about assimilating myself onto a team and onto a group. I'm very much try to read the room, get an idea of the vibes, like that sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Um, so that, yeah, interesting. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm ever in that position, I know who to reach out to be like, get some tips. It's just a different. Now, are there in-person meetups at some point or anything similar to that
I'm
that you
not
know?
sure about my specific team. I know that so like one of the verticals has a meetup this week. So my boss and one of my teammates is traveling for that today actually.
Mhm.
Um so I know like within the verticals themselves there are meetups. I don't know if they've had one for our team. My boss just joined in August, so she's still fairly new.
Yeah.
Um but we have someone else new starting at the end of the month, so I'll be curious since the team has expanded. And I think there might be someone internally coming over that she mentioned to me. So I'll be curious if we'll get to
Yeah.
like meet up because we're not really a small team at this
Okay.
point.
Yeah.
So
All right.
yeah,
Well, cool.
yeah.
Updates
So
on the
that,
job.
yep. And then just keep on keeping on with Runna.
Yeah. Okay. And
That's
are
it.
you still digging that for the most part?
Yes. I really like I mentioned, was it last time or 2 times ago? That is forcing me to do things that I wouldn't normally,
Yeah.
like running the in between paces. So, yeah, this week my 2 workouts, my track workout was a 3-mile tempo, which Rana wanted me to do at like 7:30 to 8-minute pace, which
Word. Ooh.
yeah, at the end of 2024 that was my 5K pace, so I was like, I don't know how this will go. It went great. Surprisingly to me. And then my long run workout. So I have those every other week. It's not every week. But this week landed on 2 workouts. It was 2 miles easy and then 3.5 miles at 8:30 pace and then 2 miles easy. Um, and those are the ones, like I mentioned in a previous episode, that I get most nervous about
Mm.
because it's a long run. You're running at a faster clip in the middle of more miles. And then it's just a little more like mental energy to figure out where should I go. Because neighborhood roads don't lend themselves too well to long run workouts.
Mm.
If there's a lot of stoplights, because then you're stopping and starting, and it's annoying. Then it's hard. It's much harder to pace. Um, So, yeah, I did it. So, it's like really helped me build confidence in that aspect, which I think will really help when I try to run faster on race day. So,
Okay.
I'm excited. Yeah, and for those who don't know, it's been freakishly warm here. So, it's been a pleasant winter of running training. Haven't had to worry about like ice or snow really, which is in the grand scheme of things very worrisome, but in the grand scheme of running training, it's great.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Well, cool.
yeah.
All
What's up with
right.
you?
So what's up with me? Really, the primary focus that I've got going on, outside of my own stuff from a training standpoint, is getting ready to launch a monthly subscription model training
Ooh.
platform. So that will launch on February 27th. So some of a backstory on that is that for the past, gosh, 2018, I think is when, might have even been a little bit like 2017, but let's say so from 2018 until now, and actually we still have about a month left, I have been part of Peak Optimization Performance, and I've written the training program, like a monthly or bi-monthly, whatever training program for POP since 2018. So about 7 years. Have a very good relationship, a great relationship still to this day with the owner, Mike. However, he has transitioned to where POP is going to be under new ownership. He'll still be a part of what the company is going to be doing moving forward. However, the training aspect of things, I'm actually moving the training aspect away from POP and just going to do my own thing with that. And it's very like that's part of the plan. So this isn't one of those like there's like zero messiness here, like none, zero
Yeah.
at all. Yeah. So what I'm going to be doing then is basically, just going to have my own training platform. I'm going to host it through Train Heroic.
Mm.
So what has been happening behind the scenes right now, because we still have training programs, and I just released actually a brand new training program for I call it the POP Solar System. So POP is a nutrition company. I don't know if I mentioned that, but they're a nutrition company, and the training is like secondary. It's like what you get access to, but at the heart of it, they're a one-on-one nutrition coaching program.
Mm.
So with me having written those plans for quite a while, there's a decent amount of folks who just got used to it. And even if they moved away from one-on-one nutrition coaching, we had an option where they could just continue to follow the training program, which I've always thought was really cool and appreciated having that opportunity. So now we're in this, or it's really more of an odd transition for me because I'm releasing a brand new program for them, and at the same time trying to figure out how to set it up to have a smooth-ish transition into the official launch, which will be again like February 27th, so that the new program basically drops like that weekend and people can start March off with the new
Oh,
one.
yeah.
So that's the thing, like the POP training will no longer exist after this particular training cycle is done for them. So basically it's like trying to figure out how the timing will work with making sure that those folks have something to follow while also providing them like kind of a taste or a sampler of how the app works so that they can then move forward.
Mm.
So in my head, I'm just tinkering with all that stuff. So that is like what's really front of mind right now. And all of that is definitely directly related to kind of where things are from my fat loss phase. So sleep is in a deficit right now. Like, so when we talk about like sleep debt, like the collections companies have not quite called yet.
Mhm.
However, like my file is getting put together when it comes
Like,
to
how
sleep.
bad are we talking?
I probably, let's see, I will give you an exact.
'Cause you
So,
don't sleep that much
right,
in
right, right.
relation to what I am normally sleeping.
Yeah, like I sleep less than the recommended amount anyway. And so for the last week, um 4 hours and 15 minutes.
Oh
Yeah.
my
So
god.
like the last week. And I will make it abundantly clear that I'm not sharing that as some sort of like badge that I'm
Yeah.
wearing or anything at all. I try to be transparent ish and keep things real ish
Mhm.
about like it's not, for me, it's not a do as I say, not as I do sort of a thing. That's why I specifically use the language eat well, sleep enough, and exercise regularly. Like none of those. I just talked about this on a podcast episode I released today. All three of those things the individual defines for themselves. And
Mm.
so I just knew that going into this particular season, until I at least got to a good point in building things on the back end and programming and all that stuff, that sleep quantity was going to be less than normal. So I have to, or I hold myself responsible for really doubling down on what that sleep quality has been. Like that was kind of wild. There was one of the nights that my sleep score, like the sleep score wasn't great, but my HRV and my RHR were like, I set like records for those
Whoa.
because I slept fantastic. It's just, with the sleep score, you have those different categories with Garmin. So my sleep, like the amount of sleep time was poor. And
Yeah.
then the REM sleep was poor because if you're only sleeping for
Right.
4 hours, like there's not a whole lot of opportunity for REM sleep
Yeah.
anyway. But everything else was like good to excellent, all the other
Huh.
categories. So yeah, so that like that project and also just working through where I am with a caloric deficit. I definitely attempted too deep of a deficit last week, and that
Mm.
eventually came back to bite me with trying to attempt too deep of a deficit and also that lack of sleep. So this week brought calories back up. I'm still in a deficit, but not as deep of a deficit. And I've pushed the time frame out from instead of the end of, I think initially I was going to go end of March or end of February. I can't remember. I think end of February.
I think
Um,
February.
yeah, I've pushed it out till April, like mid-April, I want to say.
Oh,
Something like that. So,
like 6 more weeks?
if that's what the end of April is, yeah. Math is hard right now. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's basically those two things are really the big stuff that's going on. But just to close out, like my updates for anybody who would be interested, because it's a shameless plug here. You can definitely hit me up on Instagram or you can email me, whatever the case may be, and I'll make sure that I've got at least got like your email or something like that, so I can get you up to date on what's going on. But it'll be very straightforward programming to follow, not a lot of extraneous, just random things thrown in to try and make it look sexy or anything. Like I'm
Yeah.
very much about like it. It feels good to go to have an opportunity to kind of look, I guess, go back into programming with fresh-ish eyes and go back to like what was the thing that first got me super engaged in
Mm.
creating training programs for groups, like not specifically
Mhm.
one-on-one, but doing it for groups of people. And the very scenario that got me first really engaged in it was that I would be inside of the gym that I worked at the time, and I would just see folks who were clearly following programs with no rhyme or reason to them. It was back
Mm.
to I'm going to pull up this workout from at the time, like Pinterest or
Yeah.
the swipe workout from Instagram that didn't really have it was just a random workout, that sort of a thing. And this wasn't just based on my assumptions. This would be me because I worked inside that gym. So this would be me striking up a convo, just say like, oh, hey, it looks like you're following kind of a flow there. Do you mind if I kind of take a look at what you're doing? And 9.5 times out of 10, there would be no flow to it. It was just, oh yeah, I picked this particular workout and things like that. And I don't think that that happens as much anymore.
Mhm.
Like I think that now it is actual programs that are released and things like that. Um, as opposed to, well, I just picked a workout from so-and-so's page and I'm just doing that workout. I think now, you have
Yeah.
people who do have app-based programs and whatnot. So it just feels good to kind of get a new, basically kind of like, it's like leaving the room and coming back in. Like,
Yeah.
okay, kind of a reset. Yeah, kind of a reset or refresh. So pretty jazzed about that. There'll be two main programs. The main program is going to be called the Daily Serving, which is a name that I've used for some group programming for a while. That one will be primarily focused on strength and physique or hypertrophy, so to speak. And then there'll be another program, which is the exact program that I've been writing at my gym for 2 years now. That one's going to be called FitWOD, which is the name that we use at the gym. So FITWOD, kind of a take on the workout of the day. That one
Yeah.
is going to be a combination of what's considered like functional movement, strength, and physique, all in one. So the main difference is that the daily serving will prioritize strength and muscle building first and movement patterns second. The
Okay.
FitWOD will prioritize movement patterns first and uh, building a physique like hypertrophy work second.
Hmm.
So FitWod will have things that'll have things sprinkled in that would be like you doing things off balance, let's say.
Okay.
Whereas with so say, remember you were talking to like the RDLs, so single leg RDLs.
Yeah.
Okay. So for something where I'm prioritizing the movement over hitting the muscle group, I would do like let that back leg float. So like a ballerina RDL for
Yeah.
FitWod. For the daily serving, that back foot would be planted in like a B stance, something that has some stability to it. So that's kind of an example off the top of my head, how the two different programs will live in there. So yeah, I'm pretty jazzed
Makes
about it.
sense.
So that was basically, thanks for allowing me to basically do an infomercial program. It's our podcast. We can do what we want to. So yeah.
It's true. Is Train Heroic the one that tells you how many like animals you lift?
No, that's EverFit.
Oh.
Yeah, that's EverFit. Yeah, I looked at a ton of different. There's so many different ones that are out there,
Yeah.
and even with like Pop, we use the exercise.com platform, which is like a white
Oh.
label, and then you brand your own app. And
Oh.
we used that, and one of the challenges that I saw, it was good for building workouts and good for when individuals needed to swap movements and things like that. It was just kind of tough sometimes with like the community features, because with Pop, we needed something that integrated everything, because we would run like periodic challenges. So you needed a community in there. You needed to be able to send check-ins, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
And there wasn't really a platform that allowed for all that stuff and had a robust workout builder. And that was the one place where it had that. I decided to go with Train Heroic on this one, primarily because the user experience on the customer's end is going to be really, really solid, where they have the autonomy to do a lot of different things. So the coach doesn't have,
Oh, cool.
the coach doesn't, they don't have to rely on the coach. And
Gotcha.
with the amount of people that I hope to have, that's just not going to be feasible. So, I'll list different exercises you can swap, and you can actually physically swap it in the app, and it'll pull
Ooh.
up how much you lifted of that specific swapped exercise. So it's much better on the user's end. And then if I have the settings correctly by the time we get this all figured out, if they decide that they want to step away or anything like that, they're not left with, like they can still pay, I think maybe $10 a month, and they can keep the Train Heroic platform, and it'll still have access to all the workouts that they've ever done, as far as I know. I might have to play around with that. But
Cool.
yeah. So, but yeah, I didn't intend to turn that into a whole commercial, but that is literally like my life right now.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, and I'm bringing back swipe workouts. I've decided.
I did see you post
I'm bringing it back to Instagram.
one.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to at least once a week. At least one per week. It'll likely end up being more. However, yeah, at least once a week. We're bringing back swipe workouts like it's 2018. We back.
Nice.
Yeah.
I deleted Instagram again.
Oh, did you? Okay. Yeah.
I saw.
What a time to be alive.
I saw a post. You know Steve Magnus?
Yeah, the do hard things guy.
I don't know. He posts a lot about like sport and sports psychology, and
yeah. Does he's the one is he the
maybe
one? I feel like I saw
don't
him do a breakdown of like Norwegian 4x4 and stuff like that.
probably. Bless you. Anyway, he posted about a study recently about social media usage and how a 2-week detox. I'm gonna butcher this because I'm not looking at it. Like a 2-week detox, it's like reverses 10 years of mental decline or something. That's definitely wrong, but it's something like that. It's
He is
like
the do hard things guy. He wrote that
okay.
book. I read that book. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, he posted about a study about social media, and I was like, I
I
don't need
found it.
this on my phone.
Here it says. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. It says a 2-week digital detox improved people's ability to focus by an amount equivalent to reversing 10 years of age-related cognitive decline. Let me repeat that. 2 weeks off your phone gave people back a decade of attention.
Yeah. And if you read like his full post, granted, I did not read the study, so
Yeah.
I don't
Don't
know
come
the
for you.
details.
All
Don't
right.
yeah, don't come for me. Um, later it says like I think the study was in teens, and it's not that their screen time went down. They just weren't on social media as much.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I'm sure if I wasn't on my phone for 2 weeks, that would do a lot better than just deleting Instagram off my phone. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I thought it was interesting, and that just made me think about like why do I need Instagram on my phone? Especially because, like, right now, I'm not posting anything really. I only post
Yeah.
my stories, and it's just, like, cat pictures. So
Oh, yeah, I saw that post. I'll save it and go back and read it at some point. Yeah.
yeah. So,
All right.
I'll be back at some point. I always am. But I think
Facts.
that I have no plans to re-get TikTok, which I think would be that one's
Gotcha.
more detrimental, I feel like,
Yeah.
too. Yeah. Yeah.
All
Anyway,
right.
so you wanna tell us why you have to do squats and stuff?
Yeah, buddy. Yep. Okay. Okay. So here is what I want to share with you. So here's my PSA for why you should do split squats and really more broadly quad work. So it is very possible, based on a 2024 study, that your quad thickness and strength could have a direct correlation to your ability to stay alive. There you go. All right. So here's what we got. Here's what we got. And then I'll get your thoughts. Okay.
Yeah, I already have questions.
So
I didn't
2024
read
study.
this, so
I know.
you're educating
I'll
me.
give you the very quick cliff notes here.
Yeah.
Researchers followed 595 adults. They were
Okay.
age 65 and older.
Okay.
All right. The average age was around 81.
Whoa. Okay.
All of these folks were hospitalized for heart failure.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. This is grim. The sample was 56% male and 44% female.
Not bad.
So instead of relying on body weight or body mass index, they used an ultrasound to measure actual quad muscle thickness, both at rest and during a light contraction.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Following me here. Here we go.
Yeah.
So they followed these patients for a median of about 2 years. So 735 days. They followed
Okay.
these folks. They did note, this is fairly sad, but during that time that they had 157 people that died.
Dang.
So it wasn't a tiny sample. If you just heard that part where 157 people died, reminder that the average age was 81 years old out of the almost 600 people here.
Which
And
means
they
a
were
lot were older.
correct. And they were already they picked them because they were already hospitalized for heart
Yeah.
failure here. Okay. So when participants were grouped by quad thickness, there was a clear pattern. People in the lowest third for quad muscle thickness had the highest mortality. So there was a stat that was in there. This is wild. For every 1 millimeter per meter increase in quad thickness, the mortality risk dropped by about 6%. And
So
that held. Go ahead.
is it like absolute size, or is it in relation to the person's stature?
I think absolute. I think.
Interesting.
Yeah. So for
'Cause,
every
like
1 millimeter per meter in quad thickness, their mortality risk dropped by about 6%. And that did hold true whether they were measured at rest or during contraction, even after they adjusted for standard medical risk factors. So something that I thought, so shout out to the podcast, Fitness Stuff for Normal People. Yeah, that's what it's called. Fitness Stuff for Normal People is
Okay.
where I first heard about this, and also major props to them because they named the topic, "Do Thick Thighs Really Save Lives?" And I thought that was fantastic. Love that. And one of the points that they also brought up that I was thinking about as I was thinking about this particular study is it's not specifically like causation. So I think it is more of a correlation piece where
Mhm.
it is possible that having strong legs could be a useful marker of what your actual health status is. and just the amount of physical like strength you have reserved, because the more that someone stays active and is able to move, especially like walk around under their own power, utilizing their legs with minimal to no usage of things like walkers and things like that. So they're using their most of their own strength to stand up, to climb upstairs, and things like that. Then you have a reduction in fall risk, I think, which becomes a major concern as folks tend to age. And you just
Yeah.
have somebody who, yeah, they're just overall, they tend to be more independent. So even if somebody is facing, I think I can't remember the phrase that so they were hospitalized for heart failure. So
Hmm.
even though they are folks who have experienced some sort of a really, what I would term a traumatic event, there are people who I'm going to make the assumption more likely than not have remained fairly active throughout their life, or at least at a certain point in time, and have potentially done some resistance training. Like basically, long story short, like they've remained active and they've built
Yeah.
strength. So I think that, I jokingly am like, well, growing your quads could save your life. And also, I think that just the broader piece of that is a continued lifelong focus, no matter how old you are, a continued focus on strength and movement and consistent movement. More importantly, I think can can only put you in a better position. I don't think it puts you in a worse position. And this is just an example of a pretty significant like number of people where they ran this. So I
Yeah.
thought it was good.
Yeah.
Any thoughts that you have?
No, it makes me think about how you commented that Rana was a lot of posterior chain.
Hmm.
There are quad work. There is quad work. But now I'm like, should there be more? I don't know.
That is kind of the way it goes now. I I did bring this study up when I was talking to a client recently, and we were talking about a new training block that they were going to do.
Mhm.
And I'll usually ask like any specific areas that you'd like to focus on more or less, and why. So trying to get a gauge for, it's not just a, like, this isn't like, I don't know, like nip tuck. Like you don't get to
Yeah.
just be like, yeah, I want this or I want that. Like I want the help me understand moment. Well, help me understand, why you want to focus on this, or help me understand why you don't want to focus on that.
Yeah.
And with female clients, and even folks that aren't my clients, just in talking to females, it's not unheard of, or even uncommon for me to get the feedback that female clients would be like, well, I don't really need to focus on quads because they're big enough already. Like I'll hear that sort of a statement.
Huh.
Yeah. So, and in some cases, I've had clients before who were like, how could I possibly make them smaller? Because I just feel like they're just too big, like that sort of a thing. And I'm just never the coach to argue with how somebody feels. What we do is I ask them to help me understand kind of where that's coming from, and if there's anything in particular, whether it's something that they're speaking positively about or something that they're speaking negatively about.
Yeah.
And a a bias that I will always have is, regardless of what you think, I'm going to hold myself responsible for making sure that we at least have enough volume of that specific muscle group to maintain a certain amount of strength there. Like that's going to be the
Mm.
big thing. So another example would be, you know, traditionally programming for a male and traditionally programming for a female, it's not unheard of for men to want to focus more on like chest and pressing exercises, especially horizontal pressing,
Yeah.
versus a female may typically want to focus on more like vertical pressing, or specifically they'll maybe want more shoulders and then glutes, like shoulders and glutes. And with
Yeah.
dudes, a lot of them are like, yeah, I want chest and tris and bis and blah, blah, blah. I'm like the weird one that's just like, bro, give me lower body all day. Just keep the upper body good enough.
Yeah.
Um, and in that, with I had a little bit of a back and forth with one of my female clients recently where we were talking about pressing. So the like chest work, let's call it.
Mhm.
And I was sharing with her, like, as we were going through her program, like, hey, I just put enough in there to make sure that regardless of what happens, if you fall down, you can quickly push yourself up off the floor. Like, that's literally all that I care about
Yeah.
when it comes to making sure that you have enough in your program. And then after that, like, it's all gravy from there,
Yeah.
you know? Because she was like, yeah, I kind of hate chest work, or yeah, she was like, I hate chest work. And I was like, well, do you like getting up off the floor if you fall? She's like, yeah. I'm like, do you feel confident that you can get off the floor? She's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, then I'm doing my job. She's like, all right, sounds good. Yeah. But hey, she's
Do you
happy with their glute work, so we're all good,
no.
you know? Yeah.
Do you know why they looked at quads instead of, like, glutes or
I didn't go that
hamstring?
I didn't go that far into it. I don't know.
I'd be curious if I
I
would
don't
guess it's not quad specific. I guess it'd be, like, more lower limb, which would encapsulate the 3 of them.
um yeah, I didn't look. Yeah, the background.
Although the
Well, part
quad
of it,
is more responsible for, like, the knee, so
so I think initially a one of the main drivers for this particular study was actually, I think, related to the effectiveness of ultrasound. So in the background, in the abstract
Oh.
background, it said ultrasound might be helpful for muscle mass assessment in patients with heart failure. We aim to determine the feasibility and prognostic implications of ultrasound measured quadriceps muscle thickness in older patients with heart failure. So perhaps
Hmm,
there was I'm not going to say ulterior motive because it might have been the main motive. And it's just like, hey, we're just trying to see, we need to attach it to some sort of we need to attach it to something else. Like
yeah.
perhaps the main thing they were trying to look at was the use of ultrasound for muscle mass assessment in folks that have heart failure, because some
Oh.
other methods maybe are more risky for
Yeah.
someone who's experienced heart failure.
Hmm,
I'm glad you asked that question because actually, now that I think about it, with that was the only line in the background of the abstract. So it's very, very possible that the whole quad thing was secondary. So the conclusion is ultrasound measured quad muscle thickness in older patients with heart failure is feasible, and thinner height adjusted quad muscle thickness at rest and during isometric contraction was independently associated with higher mortality. Yeah,
hmm.
I take that to mean the main thing is the usage of an ultrasound an effective way to measure muscle mass in folks who, yeah,
Yeah.
I think you just, yeah, that's that's really funny. That's hilarious. I totally didn't pick up on that because, of course, for me, I'm all about like it just says you should do split squats. That's
Yeah.
all I care about, right? Yeah. And so that right there, folks, is actually a very good example of how if you have a specific narrative, like I had a specific narrative that likely wasn't the main focus of this particular study, but that's what I decided to pull from it. Yeah, because
Yeah.
my dad has had heart problems and has a
Mm.
pacemaker, and I bought my mom. We bought her a new phone, and I bought her like a few different cases for her to pick up in the store that's closest to them. So I was like, yeah, just pick up. Bought her, I think, like 2 or 3 cases, and I was like, just pick them all up and then try them on, see which ones you want, and then just take back the ones that you don't want, right?
Yeah.
And something that she pointed out is there was one specific one that had like a warning on it to not be used, that it was like risky for people who had pacemakers. And I can't remember which one it was, but it had something to do, most likely it had something to do with whatever they probably used for like maybe the MagSafe stuff. I'm not totally sure.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I don't totally remember. Because you got to remember, like sometimes people will put phones in their like shirt pocket, especially old men.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what the deal is, but yeah, I just thought about that. Good question, Kelly. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. All right. So let's get into the other topic. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to? We're like 40 minutes, so
Oh, yeah.
we could
Mm.
punt it to next time. I feel
Yeah.
like this
Okay.
isn't a
Yeah. It's not a
5 minute
light
one.
one. Yeah. It's not a light one. Yeah. Yeah. So apologies if there was anybody who was like, ooh, that's the only reason that I tuned in. But yeah, we're going to pivot on this. You know what?
What?
Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to
Okay.
throw the 2 questions out.
Ooh,
Like I'm going to
okay.
throw them out there. And if
Yeah.
we've got anyone who is listening, I know at least one person who listens pretty regularly. So if you are listening, my fellow college friend, if you're listening and you have some thoughts on this, I'd love to get your feedback. So she knows who she is. So she's listening.
She's DM'd us before?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So Nicole,
Um,
if you're listening, by the way,
yeah.
yeah.
Please, if anyone wants to respond to these questions, please email us because, like I said, I deleted Instagram. I will not see it on our account.
Oh, she'll shoot me a message. It's all
Okay.
good.
Or
Yeah, we're friends.
DM
Like
JK.
she'll let me know.
Um,
That is just for her. Do not random
okay.
people do not DM me.
Everyone else, email us liftingrunningLivingpod@gmail.com.
Yeah, because that general or request box, whatever that is, the request
Oh yeah, the requests.
thing. Yeah. If I
Yeah.
get one more person that wants to help me optimize my YouTube channel,
Oh my gosh.
or the emails that I
Yeah.
get, hey, I just listened to the JK podcast. I'm like, oh, I don't know. What is the JK podcast? I've never had that. So anyways, all right. So here are the
Yeah.
questions that we are going to have. And what we are going to chat about is our perspectives on a topic inspired by, most recently, Dr. Peta Attia being in the Epstein files. I don't know how else to frame it. So here
I just
are the
liked how you said
questions.
his name.
What?
You said Peta Attia.
Peta Attia. Yeah. Yeah. It's getting messy for bro. So here are, so the broader question here, or the broader topic, is the intersection of morality and judgment of character,
Mhm.
and then that person's expertise. And I think especially in the realm of fitness and health and wellness. So I'm not sure if he coined himself as this. However, it seems like he's very comfortable being introduced as a longevity expert,
Yeah.
I think is the title. So here are the 2 questions. So one of the questions is, where's the line between, hey, their personal life is their business, including who they associate with, and then this affects whether or not I trust you professionally. So where is that line? And then the other question, do we tend to moralize health advice more than other forms of expertise like finance or tech or politics? Like, what does that say about how we view health culture? So those are the 2 questions that we were going to utilize to really just kind of bang out this particular topic. And I think it'll be an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's throw this one Joy's way too. Get her feedback.
Oh,
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
we could see if she
Throw
wants
this to her.
to join us.
Ooh, yeah. We could do that. Okay.
Yeah.
And then next time I just want to do a full commercial for my app. Because I definitely think I took like a good 10 minutes doing that. But that's my life right now. That's my life, folks.
I mean, normally it's me taking 20 minutes for my updates, so.
Yeah, it's all right. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, good call. We'll pivot and we will bump that one to our next recording. So if you have feedback on that, or just generally like your thoughts, even as specifically on Peter Attia being in there, we brought up his name before in,
Have we?
yeah.
The Oura Ring.
The Oura Ring thing.
Handle.
Yeah. Because there's a relationship with the Oura Ring thing. And then I know he was the chief science officer, I think, for the David protein bars. And then that's done now, I think. Or don't believe he's at least not publicly affiliated with them anymore.
Yeah. And he was also just hired at CBS.
Yeah.
And I've heard mixed information about if he is still hired at CBS.
Yeah. And really, my intention isn't to make it specifically about him. I think that there is a much broader conversation to have here around people who are in the public eye especially in, again, the fitness, wellness, health, and nutrition space,
Mm-hmm.
and how much it does or doesn't matter what their personal decisions are.
Yeah.
And then some would even argue that what he's dealing with, that's not necessarily a personal decision. That's something that also is affecting other people. So who knows?
Yeah.
All right. So with that, you've given the information on where to find us, right?
Yeah. Well, people can
Email.
find us on Instagram at Lifting, Running, Living Pod. It's just a question of whether we'll see it if
Yeah.
you DM us.
So shoot us an email.
Shoot us an email.
liftingrunningLivingpod@gmail.com.
Yep.
Word. Okay.
Or
All right.
leave a comment on Spotify.
Oh, yeah. You can do that too.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, folks, for tuning in to another episode of Lifting, Running, and Living. We appreciate it. Take care. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.